Stand by. We are opening on a SOT stinger to a NATVO, so you won't have to talk for a bit. I will cue you in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is breaking news.
There's the moon. Okay. And then there's that. What planet is that?
Cue.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is not a planet. NBC News is reporting the object spotted over Montana Wednesday is suspected to be a Chinese spy balloon.
Right.
Good Thursday evening, everyone. My name is John Martin. NBC News says that information is coming from the Pentagon. This all started Wednesday afternoon when several Montanans started sharing photos and videos of an unidentified object floating in the big sky. According to NBC News, the Pentagon has been tracking the balloon for the past few days, tracking it over the Aleutian Islands through Canada and into Montana. NBC reports that a senior defense official said the balloon is still over the United States, but declined to say where it is now. Around the same time that balloon was seen over Billings, we became aware that an airspace of 50 square miles over Montana was closed. It's still not confirmed whether or not the closure was related to that balloon. We're still working to get more information, but before this news broke this afternoon, there was rampant speculation about what that item could have been. Several people reported that the object looked like a weather balloon. Simran Kumari reached out to the National Weather Service to find out if that's what indeed could have been. She joins us now live in studio. And Simran, I understand that the National Weather Service knew the balloon wasn't one of theirs.
And Simran?
Yes, John, the National Weather Service in Billings confirmed the object was not a National Weather Service balloon because of how long it stayed in the sky. They say weather balloons are typically used to record temperature, moisture, and pressure data, as well as wind from Earth's surface all the way up into the atmosphere. Most weather balloons are inflated with hydrogen and helium and are launched at weather service stations all across the country multiple times a day. Nick Wirtz, a meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Billings, explained to me today why the strange object people saw in the sky just could not have been a National Weather Service balloon.
SOT.
The main one is that it will drift along with the wind, and there's always some type of wind, especially higher up in the atmosphere. And what people are saying with this object, how it's kind of been stationary for an hour, hour and a half, that wouldn't be a weather balloon. A weather balloon, even slowly with weak wind, would kind of be drifting across the sky, and it would be going higher and farther away from us as well.
Thank you, Simran.
Wirtz also says the regular launch times of national weather balloons is 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. And it's important to keep that in mind because it contradicts when many people initially reported seeing the object in the sky. And we'll continue following this story to see if we can get more answers for our viewers about just what it was they saw in the sky over Billings Wednesday afternoon. I'm Simran Kumari with Nonstop Local.
And John.
All right, Simran, thank you very much. We received a statement from the city of Billings about 5 minutes ago addressing the airspace closure, and they say in part on Wednesday, February the 1st, a ground stop was issued. It stretched from Helena to Billings, and it lasted approximately 2 hours from around 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The ground stop happened mid-afternoon when Billings Logan International Airport had very few flights. The airport's assistant director said a total of 3 flights were impacted. 2 inbound flights were diverted and arrived in Billings later, and an outbound flight was kept on the ground. The city went on to say they are aware of the reports of the suspected spy balloon, but do not have any comment on the issue. Well, keeping our attention to the skies now, let's turn our attention over to Chief Meteorologist Tracy Smith for our first check of the forecast. Hello there, Tracy.
And sting to Tracy.
Hi there, John. Throughout much of the day, we have been looking at mostly to partly cloudy skies, and here on the radar you can see a little bit of light snow just right along the Rocky Mountains and even northeastern Montana. Of course, as we continue through the rest of your evening tonight, we are going to continue to be watching gusty winds in the Livingston area and very cold wind chills out of the northeast. Friday will bring in a little bit of snow that will enter in from western Montana, sticking with us throughout the weekend. And Saturday, it looks like many areas across the state could see the return of the gusty winds, and we'll even be tracking more of a wintry mix out of western Montana. We'll have all those details here in just a bit.
All right, Tracy, thank you very much. Well, we're under a mild spell, whether here in other parts of the country, from the south to the northeast, there are millions of Americans being affected by severe weather. More than 370,000 Texas customers were without power as of late Wednesday. This winter storm has also brought more than an inch of sleet to sections of Arkansas, Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, and Oklahoma. And now the Northeast is preparing for a separate bone-chilling blast. The National Weather Service says parts of Maine and New Hampshire are forecast to have wind chills at least 50 degrees below zero. Today, Governor Greg Gianforte spoke about a subject that's near and dear to the hearts of many Montanans: taxes. Nonstop Local's Colton Little joins us now to explain the governor's plans for tax reform, as well as measures he wants to implement to cut what he describes as needless bureaucratic red tape.
And tape package.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. The governor spoke at length today about the importance of cutting bureaucratic red tape, which he describes as, quote, burdensome regulations for small businesses. Lieutenant Governor Kristen Juras,
all right, we got a little bit of a
Red Tape Relief Task Force, joined the governor and said that because of their work, the state legislature is currently considering over 170 red tape relief bills. She cited specific examples of regulatory reform that their administration has implemented. For example, the Lieutenant Governor says that because of their work, people no longer have to physically appear at the Capitol to bid for oil and gas leases on public lands. This process can now be done online. They also changed rules regarding how many apprentices a journeyman is allowed to train, whereas before 2 journeymen were required to train 1 apprentice. Now, 1 journeyman can work with 2 apprentices. The Lieutenant Governor says this has tripled the number of apprenticeships across several trades in Montana. The governor ended his speech discussing his administration's plan for tax reform. He says his administration plans to cut taxes by over $1 billion and provide tax relief to Montanans at every income level. He also says that this plan will lower property taxes, eliminate business equipment tax for over 5,000 small businesses, and provide a $1,200 child tax credit for kids under 6, as well as a tax credit for adoption.
All right, stand by,
folks,
sticking out to John.
We're now 24 days into this legislative session, and as the session continues, we will continue to track our local lawmakers' plans for the Treasure State on our website, nonstoplocal.com. I'm Colton Little. Back to you, John.
And John.
Hey, all right, Colton, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to see you. Today, for the second time on the House floor, House Bill 18 was the topic of discussion. The bill would establish a missing person response team training grant program. According to Charlene Sleeper, MMIP advocate and search and rescue volunteer, House Bill 18 would help fill a critical gap in law enforcement and search and rescue resources for Montana. The bill would secure $61,000 from the State General Fund. She says in 2021, the first time the bill was introduced, there was an issue with there not being an established budget for the grant. Sleeper says after the hearing on January 20th of this year, she has high hopes this time around.
And saw on B.
I feel like the unanimous support as far as the Senate Judiciary Committee meeting that we had on January 20th was an indication that it's constructed in a way that's going to be viable and I want to say healthy for Montana as far as like economic speaking.
Huge on.
Sleeper says many teams are majority volunteer based and resources are limited without the help of a grant. On a safety alert, Great Falls Fire Rescue teams are working in the area where a structure fire recently occurred. The battalion chief at the scene says the fire started on 13th Street and 7th Avenue South around 6 a.m. this morning. The damage made to the home unlivable. Although the cause of the fire is still unknown to us at this time, no injuries have been reported. Crews are asking the public to steer clear of that area for the time being. Well, in America Tonight, Dances with Wolves actor Nathan Chasinghorse has been arrested. Police in Las Vegas accusing him of being a sexual predator. Sean Delancey has more.
And take package.
The red heart on this front door now has a darker meaning for many after the home owned by Nathan Chasing Horse was raided by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Police now say Chasing Horse abused his power and spiritual influence as a medicine man to groom indigenous girls and women for sex, all under what they described as a cult called The Circle in this arrest report.
I can't think of anybody I know who hasn't been sexually assaulted.
HNA Whitehat says Native women and girls are frequently targeted as victims of sexual assault, but largely from people outside of the tribes. She said the fact Chasing Horse is accused of using a culture that's been systematically erased for centuries to exploit its own people makes it worse.
I'll never get to do certain dances or know how to wear these things. These things that should be mine are gone. And this guy is using that as a way
to John on 2 and then package on
to trap them, to steal them. And his own people even, which is, it's a heinous crime.
Psychiatrist Timothy Shader says that's normally how cults work.
They use a commonly accepted practice, but then start shifting that focus towards themselves where they become the central figure as opposed to whatever the central figure was in the original practice.
Shader says isolated individuals, like one victim cited in the arrest report, are more vulnerable. The report states the girl was seen as an outsider by tribal members because of her mixed appearance, and a cult leader feeds on that otherness.
They pull them into the group, make them feel very special, and then they start exploiting their isolation, and they make them more isolated, more dependent on the group.
For anyone watching this who may be at risk of falling into a cult, Shader has a message.
You're not alone, so don't forget that. Don't believe the lie. Reach out to anybody for help.
Other news near back in Montana, Arts Fest Montana has helped paint downtown Great Falls for 4 years now. And now one of the murals is gaining worldwide attention. Joey Taylor joins us from the Electric City with those details.
And package.
Some murals in Great Falls just demand you to stop and stare at them. And now one of the Arts Fest murals has been ranked as one of the top 100 in the world by artcities.com.
Report out of this.
The mural is known as The Eyes, and it's found on the corner of 9th Street South and 1st Avenue North in Great Falls. It was done by an Argentinian-based muralist who came to Great Falls last summer. On Instagram, he captioned it in part, "It's so easy to get lost in her eyes. They're brown colored. Fresh coffee, black, sugar-free. That coffee that takes away sleep. Tomorrow, I'll want again."
And actually, I believe that those are his girlfriend's eyes that he painted on there. But there's also something cool that there's hidden little figures within the artwork on the building that you have to get pretty close to see. So I encourage folks to actually stop and look at it and not just drive right past it, but the fact that it is part of the top 100 in the world is pretty incredible that we have that here in Great Falls.
Street art cities connect people through street art and list murals around the world so people know where to find them and the stories behind them. The Eyes was nominated for Best of 2022 and ranked at number 25. I'm Joey Taylor, Nonstop Local.
And ski report music under. To break in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll break. 15, stand by, open on B. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Fireplace Center Sports Studio.
I'm just going to say it, music for all the highlights.
Thank you for staying with us. A big night for our local teams around the state. It's the semifinals as those programs look to lock in a spot in the championship game. We start in AA over in Butte. West High boys hoping to get to the title bout for the first time since 2015.
Yeah,
they were met up with Carlson Glacier, and the Golden Bears get the first couple of scratches in. Here's Mitchell Fogelsong using those long arms and uses the glass to get the bucket. Wolfpack had issues holding on to the ball early, then made up for it with the parade and triples. Kadrian Bowles with one of 3 Glacier makes from deep in the first half, but of course West High's Cooper Tyson, he has been aggressive lately. 6 of his game-high 19 from the perimeter. Glacier kept it in reach for the majority of the contest, but for every move, West always had an answer, and they are in to the state championship game for the first time since 2015, 53-42.
Right.
The final score, and Missoula Hellgate beat Bozeman in the other semifinal, so it's a rematch of that famed Hellgate West game 30 years ago. The title game tips off on Saturday at 6:30. On the girls' side, Billings West had lost in the semifinals the last 2 seasons. They earned a co-state championship in 2020. Tonight, they're slated once again against Missoula Hellgate in the semis. Knights won this matchup a year ago at Metro. Second chance points were big in this one. Brooklyn Pierce perseveres on the block. It's a kind bounce on the rim. One of the few favorable calls of the game where buckets were just tough to come by. Unless your name is Alex Colville, the Pac-12 commit, buckets usually come pretty easy for her. Unafraid of Sydney Pierce. But Pierce gets revenge on the other end. Count it, and the foul. Golden Bears are fired up. They're starting to taste victory in their state championship bound for the 3rd time in 5 years, knocking out Hellgate 46-39. Both West Side teams are playing on championship Saturday. Let's check out the reigning state champions Billings Skyview, looking to make it a crosstown title matchup against Kalispell Flathead. Bravettes haven't been in that game since 2001. Kennedy Moore wants to be the one to lead her team back to it. She can do it from long range as well. Moore gives Flathead the lead in the 3rd quarter after they trailed by 6 at halftime. There's Alexis Brower for Skyview, deadly from deep, keeping the Falcons in it to the very end, but Moore had the answer. That's 2 of her 20 points. There will be no repeat for the Class AA girls. The Bravettes and a 20-year drought, 51-43 the final there. So your state AA girls matchup is set. It's a battle between top seeds Kalispell Flathead and Billings West at 8:30 tomorrow night. In Class A, Lewistown has been on a mission all season long to get back to the championship game after losing there a season ago. Golden Eagles haven't lost once this year, and tonight it was Frenchtown standing in the way of their gold. Bronx doing their best to put up a fight early on. So much talent, though, for the Golden Eagles. Nice play there for Frenchtown. But then how about Royce Robinson, a man among boys, gets the putback to go there. 30 points for him tonight, and he didn't even play a lot in the 4th quarter. Then Fisher Brown tacked on 24 to that total. 2 of the most prolific scorers in the state, just getting it done all over the place. Golden Eagles didn't have time to mess around. They blow out Frenchtown 61-35. So Fergus is in the state title game for the 2nd consecutive season. They'll play Dillon after the 3-seeded Beavers knocked off reigning state champion Butte Central. We also had really exciting matchups in the Class A girls semifinals where 3 of the 4 teams left are from the Southeastern Conference, and all 4 of them are coming from the Eastern A divisional bracket. Local rivalry between Hardin and Laurel. Winner here goes to the ship. The Bulldogs, as they always do, come out aggressive and hot early on, scored the first 7 points, got the crowd into it. You don't have to worry about that. Lady Locos down by as many as 13 in the first half. They made their run behind Idaho State commit. Elise Avey gets that tough shot to go. Then Caitlin Danick, her teammate, off a long rebound, goes coast to coast. Laurel claims their first lead of the ball game. Bulldogs battle back hard and answered every run. It seemed like they're headed back to the state championship game, 76-71.
And fade out that music.
It's just the best feeling ever, just to know that we can battle for the state championship.
Points for Iona Bigman. Who would be waiting on the other side? Billings Central or the 2-time defending state champs? Havre. We go to the second half. Rams down 12. Jessa Larson brings them
one more
a little bit within single digits, at least with that 3. Then off the steal, Gigi Hastings drops the one-handed dime to Lily Bland. Rams down 6. That was as close as the deficit would get. Blue Ponies have a hooper in Yelena Miller. 3 straight buckets for her. 25 points in the ball game. The Blue Ponies are a powerhouse. They're going to the title game for the 3rd straight year, 70-49. Hardin and Havre last met in the championship bout in 2019. The Blue Ponies are looking for their 5th state championship in 6 seasons. All right, in Class B, I want to paint you a picture real fast. 2 years ago, the Huntley Project girls didn't win a single game. They went 0-17. Tonight, the Red Devils with a chance to punch their ticket to the title game. Pretty impressive for Mandy Morales' group. It wouldn't be easy. They're facing undefeated Big Fork, the top seed out of the West. Valkyries led by 8 at the half. Here's Paige Loafing Buzzer-beating 3 to end the third made it a 3-point game. But Amy Davey and the Valkyries took fight in the fourth, and Big Fork is championship down 28 points by Paige loafing. Not enough. Red Devils fall 56-47. So who would meet the Valkyries for the girls' state title? This was a great game between the Sheep Herders and the Mets of Malta. Tied at half, and a 1-point game to end the third. How's this one going to end? Well, Bailey Finn knocks down the triple to give the Herders the lead. Then for Malta, Denver Tuss with the bucket +1. Mets with a 2-point lead under a minute, and Addie Anderson here to make it a 4-point lead. Malta's looking good down the stretch. No, it's waved off. She gets 1 at the line, so it's a 3-point advantage, trailing by 2, 9 seconds left. Finn hits 1 of 2 free throws. Herders get possession. That's Cameron Ketchum. Nobody in her way. She knows what to do with it. 45-43. Big Timber is back in the title game for the second time in 3 years against unbeaten Big Fork tomorrow night. What a win for the Herders. Finally, here at home, it's Class C at First Interstate Arena, and for the Broadest boys, they're seeking their first state trophy in over 4 decades. Hawks battling Big Sandy after the Pioneers downed Luster Christian last night. Big Sandy's Braden Klein, that's a tough fadeaway jumper. They open the game on a 9-1 run, does the Pioneers. Here comes Broadus. That pass finds Eli Heacock. They flip the script going on a 14-2 run. That's kind of been the story of these semifinal games. That's Cooper Zimmer under the basket. They have a 28-21 lead. Broadus does at halftime. Teams trading shots in the second half. Big Sandy keeping the Hawks at a distance. Wiley Snap puts them in front by 5. And Marcus Mader, kind of a last-ditch 3 here, but too little, too late. Broadus falls short. It's the Pioneers, 55-53, moving on to the title game. Remember, they were also the 6-man football state champs. They will play Manhattan Christian after the Eagles beat Belt in overtime. That game tomorrow at the Big Barn at 7:30. And remember, our Class C girls title game was already set last night. Undefeated Saco, Whitewater, Hinsdale will meet Twin Bridges in Saturday's final.
And fade that music out.
All right, they're buzzing for MSUB. Let's not forget about those basketball programs. Both teams competing today in the first round of the NCAA Division II Western Regional Tournament.
No music.
The women, a 4 seed in the Western Regional, playing Cal State University, LA. MSUB led this one by as many as 13. Golden Eagles clawed their way back, but the Jackets are moving on. 4 players score in double figures, headlined by 15 from Taryn Shelley. They play tomorrow night at 8:30. MSUB is the only team left from the GNAC after both Central and Western Washington both lost earlier today. All right, the men tipped off against Cal St. Bernardino. It's been a decade since the Jackets were in the state tournament. BJ Shabazz was a monster with 21 points, 12 boards. Carrington Wiggins, though, was held to just 11 as they fall to the Yotes 63-57. MSUB lost their last 3 games of the season, finished with a record of 20-10. That is their first 20-win season since 2006. So we'll see how the Lady Jackets do as they continue to move on at the Western Regional Tournament. That's your check on sports. We'll be right back.
And out to break.
Okay, Sydney, sounds good. Thank you. Mark it recorded.
15, stand by.
Stand by, Simran.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Stand by boxes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news right now, shortly before 5 p.m. The Department of Transportation reporting a multi-vehicle crash on the roadway Friday evening, everybody. My name is John Martin. This is happening in the eastbound lanes of Interstate 90. They're reporting near the intersection of South Frontage Road and South Billings Boulevard. You see right there, Simran Kumari is at the scene right now. Simran, what can you see out there?
And Simran.
Hello.
Well, John, right now I'm on ramp going towards I-90 eastbound. As you can see, there are cars behind me. It is blocked right now. It is also close to South Billings Boulevard.
All right.
Multiple crash has been reported. This is all information we have right now. I talked to the deputy a few minutes ago, and he said that this is all we know. The supervisor is directing the traffic. As of now, if people are interested in looking at where exactly the accident happened, I should direct them to the Montana Department of Transportation. It's at mile marker post 447.
No worries.
And as it becomes available, back to you, John.
All right, top vote.
Simran Kumari, thank you very much. Of course, we'll continue to follow that story. Of course,
Thank you, Simran.
another big
You are
story,
all
St.
clear.
Patrick's Day.
I'll give you
It's
a call
happening
as soon as
all
we
over
get
the
into
world.
the
This
race.
video
I want
comes
you
to
to
us
stay out there.
from the one and only Dublin, Ireland, and while their parade looks pretty great, there are plenty of
Stand by
local
boxes.
activities kicking off to celebrate
Boxes.
Irish heritage.
And stinging the boxes. Ready up, Mark on Router
For a
3.
majority of the state, it's a great day to be outside celebrating. Meteorologist Mark Hagan joins us from the Missoula newsroom tonight with a quick look at your forecast. Good evening, Mark.
And to Mark, kill John's mic.
All right. Hey, everyone. Good Friday. The Weather Wizard and I have been working on a pretty outstanding weekend, but there's one flaw that we did not tackle, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's start out in the west. Beautiful
Mike
evening
boxes
in
never
Missoula.
got built,
Clear
so
sky,
it's just gonna be
sunshine
John on
is seen in
cam, that's
downtown
gonna trade
on the
you, right?
Stockman Bank
Okay.
City Cam. Elsewhere around the state, in the Great Falls area, we're looking at clear skies as well. Some of that snow will be melting in the days to come. It looks like some already has. It's coldest in the east and northeast. This is a look into Miles City, but at least the sun is shining. Only 21 in Glasgow, 24 in Miles City, 34 in the Great Falls area, 29 in Bozeman, 49 in Missoula, and look at Lewiston, Idaho, 57 degrees. This is the flaw, and it's a big one. We have a wind chill advisory from Glasgow to Glendive. Wind chills in the morning, 20 to 30 below zero. That's just awful for the month of March. We have a steady wind at 10 miles per hour in Glendive, 14 miles per hour in the Miles City area. Wind chills right now around 1 above in Glendive, 12 in Miles City, 14 in the Havre area. And here's the wind chill forecast in the teens and even possible 20s below zero in the northeast and east central areas of the state, but there will be improvement later on. Here's a look at cloud cover, pretty much clear statewide. Now some of that cold air in the northeast might be bouncing back on the infrared satellite because we do have clear skies in parts of northeast Montana as well. So again, staying cold in the northeast. What about the rest of us? I'll have that forecast coming up.
And John.
All right, Mark Hagan, thank you very much. Of course, Butte, America is the place to be for St. Patrick's Day today. As thousands there are celebrating all things green. We're going to highlight those celebrations coming up in our 6:30 broadcast. But Billings is also planning a day of festivities tomorrow. Trevia Forte joins us live tonight from Hooligans in downtown Billings. Look at how the Magic City is celebrating the weekend. Trevia?
And sting to Trevia.
Austin, we're about 3 out.
John, Billings has been celebrating St. Patrick's Day for 40 years, and they've been doing this through their annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is happening tomorrow. Now, it's an event where community members and local business owners get together to celebrate Irish culture. And I was able to speak with Sean Graves, the owner of Hooligans Sports Bar right behind me, and he says that his business has been celebrating the St. Patrick's Day for 18 years now.
And Sod.
We don't have a lot of parades in Billings. A lot of towns have 4th of July, Memorial Day things and stuff like that. This is one of our only parades. This is a huge event for Billings, and it's just really fun. And I look at it also the kickoff to spring. You know, now the sunshine's coming out, and the weather's getting nicer. This is really like, all right, we're ready to get back outside and have some fun.
And stand by on Trevia.
Hello.
Taking her back.
Says St. Patrick's Day is one of the biggest celebrations here in Billings, and he's super excited to see the community all coming together to celebrate. Live in Billings, I'm Trevia Forte with Nonstop Local.
And John's mic.
All right, Trevia, thank you very much. Over in Helena today, Governor Greg Jean Forte raised the Irish flag to celebrate the governor proclaimed St. Patrick's Day as Irish Heritage Day right here in the state. He's the 7th governor to
we got the top votes of the vote side. Is that going to be redundant?
Celebrating at the Capitol.
Nope.
The celebration also featured Irish music, flutes, drums, bagpipes, as well as traditional
How does
Irish
Austin shot look?
All right.
Other news in the wake of Monday night's structure fire. Connor's sewer headquarters in Laurel Management Facility
Shot looks good on Austin.
returned to its full operation.
Austin, we're about 90 out.
Fortunately, no injuries occurred in that fire. The work there isn't over just yet. Today we visited the facility and spoke with operations staff there for an update on where repairs stand now and how the community of Laurel is helping Connors get back on their feet. According to the director of operations, Rob Martino, the toilet department of the facility was impacted the most by that fire, losing 4 trucks and all of the department's inventory. But despite the destruction, Martino says Connor Stewart is back to 95% operations and is ready to continue serving the community.
And SOT.
Second day after the fire, we're about 85% full operation.
30 to boxes.
Considering
Switching
the
to sports
destruction,
background.
losing 4 vehicles, all our inventory, a lot of our equipment that was in the shop. The following day, and because of the help of the community and our industry peers near and far supplied a lot of inventory for us, we are now up to 95%.
The cause of Monday night's fire is still under investigation, and Martino says with the support they receive from Laurel and other surrounding communities, he expects their operations will be back to 100% very soon.
Stinger.
Tonight,
skip and play.
Sorry, I always forget to wait for that. Tonight, the Montana State Bobcats are gearing up for their drive to the title as they take on the Kansas State University Wildcats, and we're getting you ready with live coverage tonight. SWX Austin Parr joins us from beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina. And Austin, set the stage for us. What's going on down there?
And stinging to Austin. Got a live interview for a bit.
Hello.
Hey, John, we are blessed to be graced by Leon Costello, the athletic director for Montana State. We're just under an hour and 40 minutes away from the 14-seeded Bobcats taking on the number 3 seed Kansas State Wildcats. But Leon, thank you so much for joining us. This is obviously a big time for the state of Montana, obviously Montana State, but what does it do for the Big Sky Conference, Montana State representing back-to-back years?
I think it says a lot about our program and where it's come, but also the strength of our conference. If you look from top to bottom, the league this year was one of the best it's ever been. And for us to go out on top now 2 years in a row says a lot about kind of where the conference is, where the program is. Now we got to go out and try to find a way to get a win.
We talked about this on a couple of different shows, but it was 1970s the first time that you guys have swept football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. So how does it feel and mean, to the city of Bozeman that you guys got to be able to be a part of?
Well, I think it's great seeing the success all across all of our sports. When you look at indoor track and field, outdoor track and field, cross country, men's and women's basketball, football, tennis, everything is kind of clicking right now. Skiing just won the Nationals and played 6. It feels good to do that, but also to stack up championships. Another 3 championships this year with men's and women's basketball and football. And that's what we're all about. We want to compete at the highest level. We want to win at the highest level. But also, I think you can't negate what we do in the classroom. A 3.3 cumulative GPA. They're getting it done in the classroom and in competition. And it's always fun to hang banners and win trophies.
Academics, always very, very important here. Okay, you've been traveling with the team. Obviously, you've been around this team since day one, but obviously traveling here too. What is the mindset of this team heading into this basketball game?
He's definitely going to run long though.
And I think it was a learning lesson last year. Going into that, it was first time in a long time. It was kind of, I think Danny described it as Disneyland. It was like, wow, go out and enjoy it. Now it's business-like.
Can you change the soft bump to B, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
With Kansas State. And they're going to try to win the game. And I think that's the step that this program really needed to take. I think we got to get off to a hot start here early, see what happens, make a few shots fall, get a few rebounds, and stay in the game and get this pro-Kentucky crowd on our side. It would be kind of cool to see.
Everybody wants to see
stand by, John.
Speaking of I just lost my train of thought there. We're going to have more coverage from Greensboro, North Carolina. Of course, Montana State, 14 seed, taking on Kansas State. And speaking of getting off to a hot start, we're going to have those keys to the game is what I was trying to say earlier, coming up later on in the show. Leon Costello, the athletic director for Montana State. I'm Austin Parr from Greensboro. Back to you, John, in the studio.
All right, Austin. Lots of excitement. Easy to lose your train of thought. We genuinely appreciate all the hard work
all clear, and we'll see you in the sports vlog.
In snow mode now, California will hopefully get some relief from its years-long drought. Take a look at these satellite images showing the snowpack level this year is more than double what it was last year. Of course, when the weather warms up and the snow starts to melt, it's going to flow down the mountains and fill lakes and rivers. At this time last year, nearly 90% of the West was in drought conditions, with 30% in, quote, extreme drought. Experts warn, though, it's going to take more than 1 year of above-average snowpack to bring lake levels back to where they should be. Another concern, of course, flooding when all that snowpack starts to melt. And if you're wondering if this St. Patrick's Day weekend is a good time here in the Treasure State, meteorologist Mark Haka has some options for you on the other side of this break. Stick around.
Get news and weather anytime on nonstoplocal.com.
Good time
We're
to go
on.
outside.